Welcome to Go Lurk Yourself, a podcast about streaming and playing video games on the internet. My name is Crunky.
And I am Cherry Cake.
This week we're going to talk about a couple different things, notably the release of the new operator information for Siege, which we are big fans of, a couple things we've been playing lately, and also the big Nintendo Direct reveal for Super Mario Maker 2 in all its infinite glory. Right, Cherry?
Yay! I'm so excited about this.
Basically, Cherry is living and breathing every day only in anticipation of Mario Maker 2.
Counting the days down. There is a Twitch streamer that I follow called Slade, and he's a massive Mario Maker streamer, and he has on his titles how many days it is until Mario Maker 2, so whenever I see him streaming, I'm like, it's like 50, no, it might be less than that some days now.
For your stream, you should make like one of those like prisoner etches on the wall, 4 or 5, how many days left each day you mark it down. Yeah. But so the big news this week for you guys who like the video game Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, that's a mouthful. We got our first look at the 2 new operators and their abilities, and they have little trailers. And Cherry, which one do you like best?
Well, I think a lot of people have sided with the attacker, an operator called, we think it's pronounced Nook anyway.
Yeah.
But she is Danish and she has an accent on the O. I guess we would call it an O anyway, in her name. But her ability does seem pretty cool. Basically what she does is she is the attack version of Vigil. So
I'm sorry, who? You mean Virgil?
Sorry.
When I started playing this game, I never could keep any of the damn operators' names straight because there's so many of them. And I called Vigil. I called him Virgil one time, and we all had a good laugh. And I've just been calling him that ever since.
He's now not called as Virgil. So Vigil. I nearly called him Virgil. Then Vigil's ability is to become almost invisible to any kind of drones or cameras that are being used by the attackers. And Nook's ability is pretty much the same. She becomes almost invisible to the cameras, but on the offensive. So that looks like her ability might be quite useful in certain situations. Yeah,
she definitely had the better of the reveal trailers to me. It was more impactful. I think I was talking to you one night when you were watching it, and it made you jump scare.
Oh my god! Yeah, her little because all the operators have like a little intro vid. And hers is, you're looking down a camera and you can see her in the distance, like in like a sewer kind of scenario. You see her and she kind of just disappears like from view, and then it goes quiet, and then she just pops up in front of the really close in front of the camera. Give me a jump scare.
And she has I guess this is a real thing. They call them the Danish frogmen. They wear these special helmets with netting draped over them.
Yeah. And
it's so dark in the sewer in the video that her premiere video that it looks like black hair hanging down over her face. So she kind of has this vibe like the Ring Girl going on.
Yeah. She looks really freaky, but kind of cool.
There's a guy on YouTube named Get Flanked. I think it's Get_Flanked, but if you Google it, you'll find him. And if you love Siege, watch his videos. He's really good. He's one of the best ones I've found. But he had like a breakdown of the trailer, and he pointed something that I missed, and that when she reaches out to hit the camera at the very end, he pauses it, and she's got some kind of tech on the inside of her glove on the palm of her hand. And while we have an idea that she's going to be able to disappear from cameras, we don't know exactly what she's going to do. I think there's a bunch of info out about which guns she uses. None of the guns are new. They're all guns that other operators already use. But she looks like she's going to be an interesting operator, especially almost like a Caveira type where she's, she can stealthily get to there without giving much intel of where she is.
Yeah.
And what about the other guy? What's his name? Warden?
Warden, yes. This one is... this had some very different reactions. But basically, me, Zerka, Vox, and Crunk, and D as well, we all are massive fans of Siege. Me, Zerka, and Vox are all British. And obviously with a British background, we have a history with James Bond. And this, I think, got possibly leaked maybe a few weeks ago, and everyone was like citing this new character as kind of like a James Bond style operator. And we thought
he literally wears a suit.
Yeah, we thought it'd be pretty cool. He's got like glasses as well. And then when it got revealed, he is literally a James Bond ripoff. But he's American, and he has the worst mustache ever. And
the Flanders mustache.
He do, yeah. Go and look up Ned Flanders, and pretty much that was what the operator is. But just in a suit.
Even better than that, there's someone on the Rainbow Six subreddit posted a picture of Ned Flanders dressed up as him.
Oh yeah, I think you posted that one. Yeah,
yeah, that's great.
So what Warden does is he is the defender for this duo, and his ability comes from his glasses, and when it is switched on, he is able to see better through smoke and flashbangs. Now, there's no clarification if you can see perfectly through them or anything like that. But
what I found is that if you're moving, it becomes
you
more
have
obscured.
To be still.
Yeah, and then they're actually going to change Glaz, who also has that ability when he's looking through a scope. They're going to change it where he can't move and shoot through the smoke.
That's I did read that they were planning to rework Glaz and a few of the operators actually as well. But Warden, I think, is probably I feel like is the weaker of the two for sure. But he feels, Chaos was saying this actually when we were playing with him yesterday as well, his ability feels very situational because you have to come across an attacker that is using smoke or flashbangs. And to be honest, I can't say that unless it specifically is Glaz. I don't feel like I really ever encounter that situation as much.
Yeah, I think because he's a defender, I think it's good if you're running against like a Ying or there's a lot of flashbangs. Characters can have a flashbang. Not everybody uses them all the time, and we don't play a lot of ranked. We play casual, so I'm betting that it's probably a lot more tactical in like the higher ranks of ranked.
The one thing that we did sort of agree on was that it could be useful against Blitz.
Absolutely, yeah. Because he's absolutely good.
Yeah.
I'm newer to Siege. Like, I haven't been playing it for years, but he can mess my shit up.
Blitz has the ability, for those that don't know, he has like a shield that will put out flashes similar to flashbangs. But what the style of play that he does is he will flash you and then just rush you because obviously you're blinded, you can't see anything, and he'll just come in and just kill you. So I imagine with that ability, with Warden's classes, it could be useful against that.
My MO now, whenever I run into a blitz, is if he flashes me, I just run where I think he is and start swinging my knife. It's only worked once ever, but it was so sweet when it did.
I find blitz really difficult to play, and I'm not great using a pistol anyway. But with the fact that you've got a shield to cope with at the same time as using the pistol as well, I find it quite hard to play as an operator.
We played yesterday, the day before, with a friend of Chaos's named Tactical Tom. Yeah. And he was really good at that. Yeah. I know you had to leave right as I got there, but when I played a few rounds, he was blitz. It was like, whoa, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Actually, the other thing as well that we noticed, actually, I think it was you that posted the screenshot of the actual operators in our Discord, that they've now, it looks now that they've introduced a difficulty rating for each operator.
Yeah, as they get more and more operators, and if they want to bring in new people, they're going to have to do something to like tear down that difficulty curve. And I think that's a smart move because one of the big obstacles I had with this game, and I've talked about on this podcast before, was just it was overwhelming, the amount of stuff you have to take on. And there's no two ways about it. You just have to eat spoonfuls of crap for a few weeks and be terrible and let your teammates down while you're playing because you can't possibly. I mean, I'm sure some people could. I couldn't or wouldn't take the time to like read up on it and understand things. And
no, you're right.
You just have to take some time being bad.
Yeah, I've come across it a few times where we've had people that are new to the game and they're constantly asking like, "Oh, who's a good operator? Who should I get?" etc. Well, it's kind of personal preference, really. But I guess with the difficulty rating, it will make life a little bit easier, I guess.
Yeah, it'll give them something else to kind of measure as they're deciding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because after you play it a while and people are like, I don't know which operator to get. It's this, who's the best one to get? People will just go, well, it just depends. And,
Yeah.
anytime I play music, so people ask me, a lot of times I'll have people like, my son or my daughter wants to learn how to play guitar. Which guitar should I get? Or so I'm thinking about doing it. I'm like, well, there's like 1,000 different applications there, and
Yeah, exactly.
and I have some, like if it's a kid learning, I have some stock answers for them. But yeah, I really am enjoying Siege right now, and these new operators are exciting. Did we get a release date on these? Do you know? Because I didn't see it.
No, I think their like official release, like reveal, I guess, is today, which is the 19th, because they have Pro League tournament going on at the moment. I believe so.
So they'll probably put a publishing date by then, right?
Yeah, I imagine that it'll be sooner rather than later. But no, I don't know.
Well, all right. You got anything else to talk about on Siege there? Or you want to move on to what we've been playing lately?
One last thing with Siege. They're reworking a few things on it. I know that they're actually redoing the Cafe Dostoevsky. You posted something in our Discord again, which was from a Reddit post.
They did a YouTube video.
Yeah, they did a walkthrough of the entire building and how it looked now. It actually looks quite good. I'm quite interested in seeing.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was Chaos who was like, I'm so scared after what they did to the Hereford base that they're going to screw it up. And I'm like, there's probably good reasons why they made Hereford base the way they did. They probably, just looking at it, if I was them, I'd probably want another crack at it. But like logistically or like line of sight issues, because when you make anything, if millions of people play it every day, they're going to find every little nook and cranny and every little cheat thing. Like I really like that Outback map, the one that came out with the last pair of operators.
Yeah,
but they were still patching things out of there. People figured out there was like a fake window there they could fall through. They could get, like,
really?
And it's like you weren't even supposed to be able to get back there. But you know how Siege people are. I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet. This week was probably the craziest glitch thing I've ever seen in Siege.
Yes,
there were three or four different like glitches that came out with the latest patch. One was the deployable shields that some operators could get. There was some kind of, I never even looked into how to do them because it just drives me nuts, but they were able to put the shield on their gun like Blackbeard does. And literally run around with this giant 3-foot tall shield in front of them but still shoot out from behind it.
Yeah, it would work like the deployable shield on the ground, but just on your gun. And the weird thing is that while we could see the shield, it wasn't there for them, so they had clear line of sight, but they still had the shield in front of their gun. Them. Yeah, that was weird. I remember seeing. I saw that once.
Well, Clash had a very similar. Clash is a defensive operator with a shield that she could see through, and she had a very similar glitch where she could like put her shield up and have her gun out. And there was also a glitch with Claymores where IQ could basically do some series of movements and place a Claymore while she's doing something else and become invisible, run around the map and kill people, even though no one could see her. So what they did in response to that was they basically set all the they just took all those things out. They took Clash altogether out for now, temporarily disabled her, and then they took Claymores and deployable shields out of everybody's kit.
Yeah. The interesting thing that they're planning to bring in with the deployable shields as well is that they're going to put a little window into them so you can see through the shields when you're crouched, which I think sounds very useful, at least.
Is there going to be a little mirror gasket there that you can shoot?
That'd be cute.
But okay, so what else have you been playing lately, Cherry?
Probably not a great deal, to be honest.
Just Siege, and that's it.
I've been on a very big Siege kick at the moment. I have dipped back into Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Switch. Nice. Yeah, kind of been mooching around on that a little bit more. I go through these phases where I will play a game, finish it, and get what I want out of it, and then I'll see someone else stream it, and I go, I want to play that again.
Yeah, because it reminds you of some of the things you miss about it.
Yeah.
If you're like me, when I think of a video game, I think of the last frustrating thing that happened to me, and I'm like, I don't want to do that again. But when you watch someone stream it, you're like, oh, I forgot about all these other awesome things.
Yeah, true, yeah.
The last game I played, I spent a little bit of time last night playing I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks lately, one audiobook.
Mm.
And I like to play sometimes I'll play like a poker game. There's a stupid like free to play app on Twitch or on Steam called HD Poker.
Yes.
That is pretty mindless. You can listen to something else while you're doing it. I've also went back to Into the Breach. Do you remember that game from the people who made FTL?
Yes.
It's like a little diagonal isometric view strategy game.
Turn-based thing.
Yeah, it's you fight. You have these giant mechs, and you're fighting against like Koju, Godzilla type monsters or bugs coming in, and it's stimulating on a puzzle game, but it's not so much that I can't listen to something else while I do it. So
yeah,
that's pretty much been it. That and Siege. I was looking at my Steam library to see if I played anything else.
I tell you what, we have played a little bit of Wildlands this week as well.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah. We picked that up. Again, it's Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, and I really enjoy playing this. It's kind of like I think summarized it best. It's like a cross between, was it GTA and Siege?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of the Siege in it. It's got that GTA feel because it's a big open world.
Yeah.
It's definitely Ubisoft where there's just places to go and things to do.
Yeah.
And I want to say the other thing it kind of feels like to me is, and these are all Tom Clancy games. What's the one with the guy with the Sam Fisher's in it, the green 3 dots on his helmet? Blacklist. Splinter Cell. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
All right. So yeah, it kind of reminds me of GTA and all the gadgety stuff that they do in Ghost Recon. Wildlands reminds me of that Splinter Cell game that I used to play. But it's awesome because you could play co-op multiplayer. So we've been able to kind of jump in and mess around there and do, have all the fun stuff that you do in GTA Online where you like, wreck your car and run each other over by accident.
Yeah, I've never done that.
No, never, not once. But
especially not with a tractor.
You ran Zerker over the tractor. I wasn't even there and I heard about it.
Yeah, me and Zerker were playing. We were just messing around and we got to, like, sort of finished what we were doing and we're at our base and the base is like it's kind of like a farm.
Yeah.
And there's tractors around. I was like, I want to drive a tractor because I've never seen one. So I was curious if you could actually drive it, and you can. So I was just like mooching around in it, and we spotted some bad guys. So I was like, I'll get out. The thing with this, again, similar to GTA, is that when you leave a vehicle, when it's moving, you will just jump out and leave the vehicle to go wherever it's heading. And I did that. And of all the places that Zerker could have been, was in front of my tractor on the trajectory that it ended up as. So I ran him over while not even being on the tractor.
So what you're saying is it's his fault?
Yes. Exactly that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's kind of like really open-ended. Like you're just like, the map's literally shit to do, little icons, and you're like, let's go here and do that, and you'll get like different resources and unlock points, and you can kind of level up trees. Very much like Ubisoft formula, right?
Yeah, like I do enjoy playing it, but Zerker made a fair point when we were playing the other day that the storyline is a little bit weak. Like, I'm not particularly bothered about it. I don't really care or know what's going on with the storyline. But if you want something that's just fun to do a couple of shooty missions or rescue people or something like that in an open world scenario, and I can't stress how big this map is. It is huge. Yeah. So if you like things like that,
it's varied terrain too. Like you can't just get in a car and drive straight there. You got to like drive on the roads, or you're gonna blow up. But I'd say it's a really good sandbox title. Like, just if you ever played Just Cause, where you can like, tie your character up to like jet planes and blow stuff up. It's kind of like, it's not as silly as that. It's more, they try to be more realistic. But I don't know how realistic it could be when you get gunned down by like 400 guys and you just take a needle to the heart from a shot and you just get back up full health again.
Yeah.
But it's made to be, I think the fun in that game is playing co-op or the gunplay and the actual gameplay mechanics, and not necessarily, the story's kind of like, you're fighting the Mexican drug cartel or something, is like about as much as I know about the story.
Yeah, something along the lines of that.
Well, I think we should go ahead and get to the meat of this episode and talk about the best Nintendo Direct in 2 years.
Oh, yes. And we only have roughly about 40 minutes, so we've got to get through this because there is a lot.
All right, well, before we get into all the nitty-gritty, I just want to say that my expectation of Mario Maker 2 was it's just going to be Mario Maker with a couple of things changed and repackaged for the Switch. And because, the 4 people that own a Wii U and still play it every day that's the only game they play. So it's a smart move on their part. But man, I was impressed with the amount of content that they're bringing to this Mario Maker 2. I was completely blown away. Before they even got to the story mode stuff, which maybe story mode will be kind of weak. Maybe it's just like a pretty picture on just what's going to account to a bunch of levels. But that kind of stuff will be really fun to sit down and play. Even if it's just, it kind of gives you a motivation to play the infinite number of maps that are going to be coming your way in this game.
Well, they made a point with the story mode, actually, when they did Direct, because I rewatched it earlier just to make some notes on it. Yeah. And when I was watching the coverage of the story part to it, I think it is a good starting point for those that haven't played Mario Maker 1, because it has like tutorial levels in it. It will start you with the basic, very easy levels and show you different things, different mechanics. And I imagine as you gradually build the castle, it will get harder and harder. The basis of the story mode is that you have to collect coins within the levels in order to rebuild the castle. So that's pretty much it for now, at least.
I saw a couple of the returning Mario Paint characters back. Undo Dog's there again. The robot's there, and the Eraser dude was there. I saw in the trailer.
Oh yes, yeah.
Those are all characters that like little characters that were in Mario Maker 1, but way back in the early 90s, I want to say, they had a Mario Paint title where what a lot of this comes from. And it's like, damn, Nintendo, do you guys ever think of anything new?
But I think if you hadn't told me that, I wouldn't have known where it was from.
Yeah. Well, some of us are older than others, Cherry.
I didn't say that. I might have implied it. You might have heard it, but I didn't say it.
I inferred it. You implied it. We all know I haven't.
Yeah.
So let's do it, Cherry. Tell us all about it. What's the best features, the most exciting features?
Okay. Personally, this doesn't actually have anything to do with the items that have been introduced, but my favourite thing that I'm actually looking forward to is the filters that you can put on in order to search for levels. So this is I know.
Finally, some UI improvements.
So, as far as I'm aware, I don't think there is a search filter as detailed as this one in Mario Maker 1. But what you can do now in 2 is search for... you can search for the type of level you want, so you can specify whether you want Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario 3, or Super Mario World, or New Super Mario Brothers. So, with those, I think actually possibly the 3D World as well is included in there. Yeah. So those 5 options are now available, so you can specify which levels you want to search for. So my favourite is Super Mario 3, so I would just search for that. You can also search it via difficulty as well. They still have the standard easy, normal, expert, and super expert difficulties.
Well, in typical Nintendo fashion, Super Mario Maker 1, all their search features were built into the website. Like what do they call that site where you go to queue up the episode? You could go offline on your phone or on a computer, and you could do some searches, and you could queue up to your account. And when you got home and played on your Wii U, they'd all be sitting there waiting for you.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's just if you didn't happen to catch that episode or the direct that talked about it, you may not even know. Yeah, because it's not like in a game it tells you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think this is going to be super useful. Yes, because I know there's a lot of Mario Maker streamers and players that hate New Super Mario Brothers and the mechanics that are all involved in that. So that should be useful. You can also another thing that they've introduced is tags. So you can now tag levels. If you created a level, you can now tag it with things such as puzzle solving, speedruns, auto-scrollers, short and sweet, multiplayer versus themed, and music. So if you have
people don't I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh.
I was saying a lot of people don't know that the Super Mario Brothers Versus was an arcade game and also a limited edition cart for the NES, where two people played at the same time. You see those blocks where you could like block each other off.
Yeah.
That was a whole game mode where you'd hit the on-off and you guys would have to like versus each other and race to the end.
Right.
It was terribly irritating to play, though, if you liked regular Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
but I remember playing it at arcades. In America, we used to have these Player's Choice 10 arcade machines, which were made by Nintendo. And basically what they were 10 arcade versions of NES games you could play at the arcade you got to pick. And the Mario Brothers that was on a lot of these that I saw late in the arcade days was Mario Versus. And it's really interesting to see that come back. Yeah. I know on the Switch you can actually buy the old NES Versus game that was in arcades right now in the eShop. If you want to spend $6 to go be annoyed by old games.
Sure.
Or you can just wait for Mario Maker 2 to come out and play them there.
Yeah. The other thing that I was really, really happy to see was the new voting system that they've kind of brought in, where you can now they've called it boo, as like BOO. You can boo courses if they're rubbish. So they never had anything like that in Mario Maker 1. You could only like the courses that you liked. There was no like downvoting system. So with that introduced...
Don't you mean the boo earn system? Sorry, I couldn't.
I was desperate not to say that. With
That's a Simpsons reference for those playing at home.
I was saying boo earns. With that being introduced, I think it will filter out a lot of the really trolly, rubbish, like pseudo Kaizo, hidden block kind of levels. So hopefully it will see an increase in better levels. The only thing is that someone actually brought up when I was watching a stream about it was it's unclear when you can boo a level. Yeah. Because in the direct, the player just pauses the level that he's on and it comes up. So it may get to a point where, this is this day and age, but it may get to a point where people are just booing levels just for the fun of it, even though it can be a good level. So it's going to work both ways, I think.
Yeah. What you need to, used to levels, like give me a I love this game. Or what was it? Yeah, or was it thumbs up? Or I think it was yeah. It might have been Mario 3D World now I'm thinking about it. But one of the cool things that I thought about when I watched this and I saw that is that you should make a boo button or emote for your channel.
Yeah. I think actually one of the bigger streamers, Orator, has already implemented the little broken heart as one of his emotes.
Oh, nice.
So, what else? Anything that you were looking forward to?
I'll tell you what I was surprised by, and what I think it was a big aha moment for me was when they showed that when you made it night mode in all the different modes, it really affected the game, low gravity. Yeah, you have all the detail on that section, I'm sure, but that was a bigger, in my mind, a bigger impact of the variety of Mario Maker 2's game styles than I think they really pointed out in the direct. They're like, oh, by the way, this will happen, and then they just moved on to the next thing. I'm like, that's huge. That's 8 different game modes now.
The thing that I found with these directs is that they will give you information but not tell you about it.
Yeah,
and which is why a lot of the big Super Mario Maker streamers do play-by-play, because they Nintendo have just flooded the direct with information that you would not initially register until you do go back and stop it and see what is available.
Yeah. They can't. I see the give and take there, because if they were to really go into detail, the direct would be 45 minutes long. People are like, Jesus Christ, we get it. Go on.
Yeah, I imagine they'll do more when it gets to E3.
Yeah, you're right there. I bet it'll be playable because it's coming out in June, right?
It is. Yeah, the end of June it comes out, and E3 is the first couple of weeks.
Yeah,
so which is a really
Florida.
Very very smart move by them, I think.
Yeah. What's your favorite part other than the filters? What actual gameplay modes? Is there anything in there that surprised you, or you're super happy about being there?
Well, funnily enough, actually, when you were talking about the night mode, which is just genius, by the way, they've also introduced different I don't know what you would call them, different modes, I guess, within the levels. So you've now got sky mode, which wasn't available before, desert, snow, and forest. So
the theming.
Yeah, the themes. Yes, that's what I was looking for. But with the night mode, the one thing that I'm kind of intrigued to see is when you are sub-level, like in the underground part, if you put it in night mode, it's upside down.
Yeah. So
that is going to be interesting to see, and see how frustrating and how it works on a playable front, I guess.
See, I hear it in your voice right now. You're looking at these things and you're thinking, what kind of bullshit troll levels am I going to have to face when I go into Mario Maker now? You're always, because you played Mario Maker enough, you know there's a downside to Mario Maker.
Yeah.
And that is the internet is full of asshole trolls who will, like, when you said the filtering system had not hashtags, but tags.
Tags, yeah.
Is there going to be a tag for bullshit levels that right as you jump on the flag, there's an invisible coin there that knocks you into a hole? Because that's like... And look, we were all kids, and we're all kids. I mean, I'm a 40-year-old man talking about Super Mario Maker that's coming out in a month, and I'm very excited about it. So I understand being immature, but Mario Maker is basically unleashing the trolls on us, and there's only so much Nintendo or anybody can do to stop trolls, stuff like that from happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if there is a measured response or way for them to try to cut down on the troll levels, people will run up against it and figure out a way through it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've watched enough of like Orator, Bob, and Valhart to see absolute garbage levels. Some of them are just, like I say, hidden blocks. You're searching the entire level. Oh, that was the other thing that I was going to actually comment on is they've now introduced, just a sidetrack, but they've now introduced clear conditions to the levels.
Yeah.
So what this means is that you can now implement this rule into the levels where you have to collect so many coins or destroy so many enemies or finish as Big Mario or things like that. And the one thing that immediately came to mind with this is if you put something like this in, you have to destroy or collect or do something in order to finish the level, there is going to be like a coin that is up in the far right-hand corner, just out of the way, and you're going to spend hours just searching for this one little thing just so you can finish the level. And I'm really concerned about that.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that got me excited about it was the story mode has a little bit more of like a progression system. Like you said, it trains you a little bit, but it has 100 courses designed by Nintendo.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think that's great. Yeah. And you could make your own, like, you could make in the old Mario Maker 2, you could make your own like set of levels. So you could make like a world 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4 that are all themed together. And I think that's kind of a neat thing to do if we can share those with friends. Because one of the best things about Mario Maker to me is what I liked to do with Mario Maker was to make a level that felt like that I tried to emulate something that maybe Nintendo would make. It's good game design. Like the coins tell you where to jump. They don't tell you, they don't point down to a hole that's going to kill you because haha, now you're dead.
9 times out of 10, that is what it is. Huh?
Exactly. So when I made Mario Maker levels back before my Wii U fell in the closet with all the dust bunnies, that's what I would strive to do. And you just get lost. When you go to play online, like you said, you'll play 10 worlds in a row and 8 of them might be fun and good. And then you'll have 2 that'll just make you rage hard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. But
they were always good about letting you just skip those. If you're playing online, if you're like, this one's bullshit, you could just like, literally on the Wii, you could just swipe right on it or swipe left, I think. I don't know.
But hopefully with the new system of being able to boo levels like that, it will hopefully work in our favour.
Yeah, you could say, don't give me any levels that have been booed 50 times.
Yeah, there'll be like, I'm imagining like some kind of percentage that or threshold that they have to meet in order to actually like appear on runs. Speaking of, they've now brought in endless mode.
And
which
you can just play it forever.
I think should be really interesting to see some of the streamers that I watch attempt this. Yeah, it is what it is. It is an endless run of levels that you go through until you run out of lives, essentially. The example that they put on the Direct is that you started with 5 lives, but whether that is going to happen or not, I don't know. But should be fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about the son? What's his name?
Angry Son.
Angry Son
Yeah.
from Mario 3.
Yeah. I was never really a fan of the Angry Son. I'm not gonna lie. Just because it would always kill me. In Mario 3, but
that's kind of the point of the thing, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah. But it's something that you can't get rid of permanently.
He always comes back.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, it could be interesting. Yeah, it could be put to.
So it's a big no on Angry Son from Cherry.
No, I was just thinking.
No, it might be okay. I'm never going to play a level with him in it, but it might be okay.
Well, Super Mario 3 is my favourite one, so I'm going to be searching for that. The thing is with that is that in between all these other enemies that you have to deal with, and the course as well, you have this constant sun trying to kill you as well. So it could make life difficult, but it could also be a good challenge as well.
We were just talking about the things that we're very happy that they're adding in, and we haven't talked about one of the biggest ones, online multiplayer.
Yes.
That is going to be very interesting, and I want to put together some community nights when it comes out where a bunch of us who have it and like to play can get together and see if it's any fun, because it's been my experience that, especially the one where you can like bump into each other, those can be really annoying.
Yeah, particularly with you being over the other side of the Atlantic as well.
Yeah,
so,
that ping's going to help.
Yeah, it should be interesting. But I think if you... there's two modes that you can do. You can do versus and co-op. So you can do levels where you race to the end to be the first one, or you can do a mode where you help each other and work together. So I think it could be really fun. I really do.
Yeah, I do too. I'm looking forward to trying it. One thing that I did see was that my daughter was fond on was the co-op, the couch co-op build mode where 2 of you can build a level together. That's something huge that Mario Maker 1, when Molly and I used to play that together, we never could. We'd pass the controller back and forth, but most of the time she's like, can I just build one by myself for a while? I'm like, sure.
Yeah. What I would like to see with that, because you just said then it is only couch co-op at the moment. Yeah. So what I would like to see, maybe if they ever do get around to it in the future, that you can do that online.
Yeah, I think they specifically said that it wasn't going to be available up front, right? The build mode is couch only because you have to share a screen while you're building. But yeah. I hear what you're saying. It would be nice if you could. Well, what else about Mario Maker 2? Did we capture it all?
There is a bunch of new items, which I can quickly just reel off if you want. One of the big ones, actually, that a lot of the Mario Maker streamers were excited about is the slopes that have been introduced. Instead of having to do stairs now, you can do a gradient, which there is 2 gradients. There is a steep and a gentle, I think it's called. Yeah. We also covered the Angry Zone.
The slopes, don't forget that you can now slope pipes too, and conveyor belts.
Yes. Yep. The snake block, which it's an automatically moving length of blocks that Mario can jump on, and you determine where the snake goes essentially within the level.
First introduced in Mario 3.
Was it really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. The other, actually, one of the big ones that I noticed was the on-off switch, which I think a lot of the streamers that do ROM hacks will quite enjoy this, because it's quite a big thing with Mario ROM hacks to use the on-off switch. Basically what it is a switch that can either be put in on or off, and depending on what state it is in will affect certain items within levels. So you can turn blocks on and off, or you can make them solid or transparent. You can also affect the direction of conveyor belts as well. What else do we have? The seesaw? I've not seen the seesaw before.
No, I think the seesaw was in... I mean, there were types of seesaws in New Super Mario World, and I think they had something that operated like a seesaw in Super Mario. What was the one on in the SNES? Was it Super Mario World?
Oh yeah,
too many titles of the Super Mario 3D World or Super Mario World.
Yeah,
but it had like the little springy guys, and it had some that went back and forth, or some that spun and then stopped, spun and then stopped. I think it's kind of one of those deals.
Another thing that I'm quite curious about is the introduction of water.
And lava and poison?
Yes, all those, yeah. So in Mario Maker 1, you only had the option of doing a completely submerged level, which was an underwater level, which was a swimming one. But this time they've now introduced, which... Was this brought in... Was it Super Mario World?
Super Mario 3,
was the
first one I saw that had like water. They had a level where the water would go up and down. Like you could do that in this too, or you could have it just be static at the bottom.
Yeah,
that you could actually swim in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you won't die if you do happen to go into it, unless it's
Mario 1 had water pits, but it wasn't like you went in the water and could swim out. You just fall straight through them.
Yeah, and this one they've now done it so you can change the level of the water as well. You can have it rise and lower at certain points if you so wish, and at different speeds as well. What else have we got? Vertical courses, Grant?
Oh yeah, vertical scrolling courses and vertical and those are really interesting because if you really go back to the NES. One of the very first popular NES games, but one that kind of hit was called Ice Climbers. And it was literally a vertical scroller. And that used to be like its own genre, but you don't see them anymore. So for them to put this mode in here, automatic scrollers that go horizontal and vertical. If you remember back to the Super Mario 3, the World 8 or whatever Bowser's World was in that one, the tank levels that kind of the levels would scroll to the right for a bit, and then they'd start to scroll up, and then they'd scroll at a diagonal. You can do all that stuff now in it, and that's really cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I knew when I rewatched the Direct this morning, there was basically they had made a tank level by making conveyor belts that look like treads, and they put little buzzsaws in the middle spinning to look like the spinning thing, and then they used like bent pipes just like they did in Mario 3 to make it look like a tank rolling there, even though it's just assets that were meant to do other things. It looks like a tank rolling by, and if it's an auto-scrolling level, it sits there. Hang on,
why has that only just occurred to me that that's what they've done? You literally, just as you said that, I was like, they just, it's just a pipe that's made smaller to look like a can. Oh my god.
Yeah. So what it is that's a static thing sitting there, but if the level's auto-scrolling, it looks like it's driving, and that's a trick that they thought of back in the 80s when we were just still in diapers playing video games. But now we can do it too.
Yay! Also, they have now introduced red Yoshis, so you can have a Yoshi that can shoot fire.
Can you have blue and yellow ones too?
Undetermined. It wasn't covered in the Direct, only the red Yoshi was. But it would be cool.
I played Yoshi's Woolly World, and there are a lot of colors of Yoshis.
Yeah. I wonder if they have specific ones.
Yeah, in Mario World, the blue one would fly.
Yes.
The yellow one would do something. I don't remember.
Something. Someone will correct us.
Definitely did something. If you would like to send us a Twitter, you can tweet at Go Lurk Yourself Podcast, GLY Podcast.
So one thing I noticed, just to wrap this up, with this Direct is that I felt like they concentrated heavily on New Super Mario Brothers, while making my notes and lists on things that they've now included in Mario Maker 2. New Super Mario Brothers has a lot of stuff that is now available. So you've got things like New Super Mario Brothers, and a 3D World.
Yeah.
So Cat Mario, which is he's like he's just a cat version of Mario. So
he's furry Mario, you can say.
Yeah, so yes, furry Mario. He's in a yellow suit that looks like a cat. Basically, you can climb walls, you can scratch enemies, you can glide slightly as well, which I think. I don't know. I'm on the fence with 3D World being introduced into this because I don't know entirely if I enjoyed that game.
Well, the crazy thing is, it's 3D World's look, but it's not going to play like that because that was a 3D isometric game. So who knows if it's going to be as floaty. My hope for it is it won't play like New Super Mario World because while I didn't mind that one, a lot of people hate that mode. It had speed running in it. When the Nintendo Wii U came out, that wasn't the first New Super Mario game, but they changed the physics for it, and it is a little floatier with the like little flips and twists you can do. But it was made that way with like speed running and those kind of things in mind, and accuracy in mind. And while they do play different than like the classic ones we all love, Mario 1 and 3 don't play exactly like the NES counterparts either. They're modified for this. So I get it. I get people don't like it a whole lot and they like the feel of the old ones, but those old ones don't play exactly the same either.
Yeah, no, I get that.
It kind of feels like they split the difference, you know?
Yeah. There's just something about New Super Mario Brothers and probably 3D World. I don't know if it's the art style of it that I'm not too keen on, because it's like they're trying to create a 3D Mario but in a 2D world, and he just doesn't look quite right. But it will be interesting to try with the inclusion of 3D World aspects. There's different items, so like say you've got Cat Mario, you've got clear pipes as well, so instead of the traditional solid coloured pipes that will lead to a subworld or somewhere else, the clear pipes will let you travel from one end to the other, but you can see Mario travelling through them.
So can the enemies too.
Yes, the enemies can travel through them as well, which will be quite interesting. They also included crates, which is something that I've not seen before. I don't know if I missed this in 3D World.
They were in 3D World,
yeah. So you can pick the crates up and you can chuck them into water or lava, and it creates a platform for you to stand on. Also the warp box, which is like just a standard little box with an exclamation mark. If you hit it, you'll get warped to another area. Very similar to
Subworld,
yeah. It's very similar to just a pipe, which is just in the form of a block. What else we got? A piranha creeper, even. So that works similar to the snake blocks, but it's just in it's a piranha. It's an enemy that you have to avoid.
Yeah, that would come out. Those are all over 3D World, and,
yeah.
And even in New Super Mario Brothers. There was a New Super Mario Brothers. In fact, the very first one that came out for New Super Mario Brothers was on the 3DS, and they actually it was actually really fun. At the time, there wasn't Mario Overload yet because there was no Mario Maker, there was no New Super Mario Brothers Wii, New Super Mario Brothers Wii U, and all the different versions of it. But it was the first like new 2D Mario game that we'd had in a long time, and it was fun. And then they made a sequel that was more coin oriented, and those are probably the last 3DS games I played all the way through that I really enjoyed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it.
So is this where you announced that you're going to be a full-time Super Mario Maker 2 streamer?
Yes, look forward to that in the coming future, very soon.
You got your emotes made? And and your themes and transitions made?
Yeah. I think one of the most interesting things, aside from the filters, the filters are my favourite thing, one of the most interesting things is what you brought up with the levels and the theming to the levels. I think it gives so much scope to what is going to be able to be created. Because, like, not only do you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 different theming, you also have the flip side with the night mode as well. So the amount of different style of levels that you're going to come across is going to be insane.
Yeah, they say if you change water level to night mode, then the water turns into either lava, or if you change it to castle, or it can change into poison. So and that change, if you fall in the water, you can just jump back out. If you fall in poison, you dead.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
And the other one that I was interested in is when you're in sky mode, if you put it into night mode, you have low gravity, so it becomes like you're on the moon, which I thought that would be really cool.
Exactly.
It reminds me of the
Odyssey.
No, it reminds me of the game on the Game Boy, the sick golden coin one.
Oh yeah, because it had low gravity areas, didn't it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Cherry, how can people reach out to you?
Well, if you guys want to contact me, you can usually find me on Twitter. That's at CherryCake518. I had to think for a moment there. I am off Twitch for the moment, but I will be back streaming Mario Maker 2 when that gets released. So look forward to that if you want to catch me on there. I am. It's twitch.tv/CherryCakeTV.
And I'm on Twitter, I'm at Crunky2TV, and you can find me on Twitch at Crunky2Ns. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.